Almost half the young people in the world will be in sub-Saharan Africa. From 2020 to 2100,
Told y'all, look,
the rest of the
Bill
world
Gates
goes
know.
from 506 million kids under 5.
Right, he just writing numbers on a board, right? I seen this with my own eye. What billionaires know about Africa that you don't. Look, man, Africa has been on the uptrend for a while now. Let's go ahead and check this video out.
Become the next great economic power zone sooner than we thought. I've been reading through the news and I'm reading stories that make me question how long the global economic hierarchy can last. Did you know that many West African countries are growing faster than China did during the early 2000s? Let me use Ghana as my example. Here's the economic data on China, and here's the economic data on Ghana. Ghana is more wealthy today than China was in 2006. And I would argue that the GDP for Ghana is vastly underestimated by at least 30 to 40% because
Ghana's
of the gray
going
markets.
crazy, y'all.
But here's the biggest difference between West Africa and the other countries that grew rapidly in recent history. Ghana and other African nations are not powering their growth with individual debt. They are powered by access to raw resources, a rapidly growing educated population, value-added activities, and investments in long-term infrastructure. And because of that, I believe that Ghana is actually forming a much stronger economic base than either China or the Western world. Here's one such story that highlights what I'm talking about with individual debt. China is demolishing newly built residential skyscrapers in an attempt to protect real estate prices. They are doing this because their financial markets are based in part on Chinese citizens paying a mortgage. And if houses were to become more affordable, their entire financial system would be at a risk of collapse, like America experienced in 2007. Now, before you think I'm just criticizing China, I see the Western world enacting similar policies in almost every nation, desperately fighting any attempt to increase the supply of housing, all because those governments want to prevent a collapse in housing values, because much of the Western debt is also backed by real estate. Keeping citizens from having affordable housing may seem like economic insanity, but it highlights a fundamental problem in the world's economic system, which is that it is a system that is not based on the well-being of the citizens, but on debt and inflation for the benefit of international financial institutions. You can see the result of these policies in America as 61% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck. You see young people unable to afford to start families until...
Hey, that's so true, bro. That's so true, bro. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, bro. Can't afford to start families, like he's about to say. A lot of them are still paying college debt. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. Because the thing is, when I was young, back in the 1950s, joking, but back when I was young, like we were told, go to college, get a job, da 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 da. Now everybody went to college, and it's so hard to find a job. You know what I'm saying? It's difficult to find a job, man. And then you'll see the new age people didn't even go to college or anything like that, and they're owning homes, they're buying cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, we was lied to. They was lied to.
their mid-30s. You see recent college graduates unable to afford to have their own apartments. So objectively, does the Western world seem like a society with a bright economic future? Westerners may not like to hear this, but many of them who think that they are middle class are actually meeting the definition of poverty. They just express their poverty in a way that is not as visible. This is why I believe there is such a big opportunity.
I think one thing that plays a part in it is that the U.S. is very expensive, bruh. The U.S. is very expensive. If you go to an African country, I don't know, any African country, not any African country, you go to an African country and bring the money that you're making from the U.S., bro, you're going to be living good because the U.S. is very, very expensive, bruh. The U.S. is very expensive. Like, there was a time back when I lived in the U.S., I had 3 different jobs, bro. You have to work hard, bro. You have to work hard. If you want to live a certain lifestyle, you have to make sacrifices. And a lot of us sacrifice a lot, you know what I'm saying? Having a regular, you know what I'm saying, social life. You have to have 3 different jobs. You go from one job, you go to the next, you know what I'm saying? Side hustle as well. Like, bro, you have to have all that, bro, to survive. You feel me?
West Africa because they don't have a system of consumer debt or 30-year mortgages. So as our economies grow in West Africa, the disposable income should increase on a nearly 1-to-1 ratio. So we're going to see a lot more skyscrapers, more roads, more businesses, and most importantly, higher wages. If the African nations play their cards right, then while the Western populations are struggling to even afford to have families, the Africans are going to accumulate more wealth and become the dominant economic force globally. That is, unless the Western world can undermine Africa, which they have been very successful at doing in the past.
That's one thing, bro. That's one thing, bro. If African countries can just be stern, you know, and not be manipulated and not give in to corruption and things like that, then yeah, I can see this being successful. The odds of that happening, I don't know. I guess that's something that we're gonna have to see. But yeah, one thing I do know, and this is what I've seen with my own eyes when I came to the continent of Africa, is how young the country is. The country, or the continent, not even just the country, the continent is very, very young. There's a lot of young people in this country, a lot of young people, bro, which is gonna benefit in the future for sure, 100%.
African leaders need to be very careful not to allow financial institutions to lure Africans into the same debt traps that captured the Western world. They also need to make sure that they unify and negotiate trade deals that keep value-added
That
activities
benefit the
within the
continent.
continent. But I'm
100%.
confident that they will be successful because the Pan-African community has become much more keen on the typical tricks that have undermined Africa in the past. But I want to know what you guys think. Am I too optimistic about the future of West Africa? Do you think that the dominant economic positions that China and the West currently enjoy will be too much for the Africans to overcome? Let me know in the comments below.
If you add up the 55 countries of the African Union, that's about 1.5 billion people, same size as India, same size as China. The big difference is that the imperial powers divided Africa into 55 little countries, not one of which can thrive on its own, whereas India and China, because of the history, remained.
That's one thing too. I feel like African countries need to have better relations. I think that once they fix their wanting to be to get apart, you know what I'm saying, and be more together and have better relations, yeah, Africa will definitely thrive. But it's just getting everyone on one accord, bro. Getting everyone to come in together is the problem, bro, for sure.
Unified countries
Do you think this
afterwards.
will change in the future?
I know a lot of people in South Africa that can't travel to certain African countries because of their passport. Like what? I feel like if you live in an African country, you should be able to go to any African country you want. That's just my opinion. That's my opinion. Because we need to fix the relations between countries, bro. Once we fix those relations, hey, bro, Africa will be strong, bro. Africa will be strong.
Night.
They have to. So I tell them every single time I have the opportunity that the African Union is the key. As 55, you can't make it. But as one African continental economy, you can make it. So what's happening now is Africa's population is continuing to rise. It's the only place in the world with rapid population growth.
And all the
continuing.
other are declining.
Everyone else has peaked or just about to peak or actually
Declining.
beginning a decline. Africa's population today is 1.5 billion. By 2050, it'll be 2.5 billion. That's a lot. Adding a billion people
Are they going by
in
birth
the
rates?
next quarter century.
Is that how they
if
get
you
these numbers?
go even farther and just try to extrapolate based on current trends, Africa's population reaches about 3.5 billion, and according to the UN most recent forecast, 3.7 billion by the end of the 21st century. And Africa goes from being 9% of the world population to being more than 30% of the world population. It's going to be a
That's
completely
insane.
different world.
That's insane.
What do I
y'all.
say to African leaders every time I have the chance? First, be Africa-wide. Second, get on quickly with mass education because that is the key to the economic development. Third, look at what China did. Follow that model.
Do you agree with him? Let us know in the comment section.
End of the century, almost half the young people in the world will be in sub-Saharan Africa. From 2020 to
I
2100,
told y'all, look,
the rest of the
Bill
world
Gates
goes
know.
from 506 million kids under 5.
Right, he just writing numbers on a board, right? I seen this with my own eyes when I realized this with my eyes when I came to the African continent. Yes, y'all seeing numbers and lines on a board, but when you actually touch down in the continent, you will actually see how many young people are here, bruh. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's like you do see old people, but majority of the people you see are young people, y'all. Young people.
Down to 357 million. So that is quite a decline. Whereas sub-Saharan Africa starts at 173 million and climbs to 293 million. In North America, the median age is now 35 and going up. Today in Africa, the median age is 18. These young people can be a huge asset. If they're
Facts.
healthy and educated, they drive economic growth, they drive innovation. So it's a challenge to the world to take advantage of investing in youth, improving their health and education really pays off.
I can't let you go without talking
Hey,
about
he was
Africa.
spitting.
What is the
He was
investment
spitting, bruh.
opportunity in today's market?
And I do a lot of investing in Ghana because so many things in the infrastructure for me allured me and pulled me in. What Ghana in essence has done in their country is set it up in a way that they have more structures in place so you can protect your assets before you buy a property and find out like 20 people own that same acre of land. Safety level wise as well, Ghana is right now is a place that we're seeing that the crime levels are some of the lowest in West Africa. And then outside of that, imagine you can build in Ghana, right, or in certain parts of Africa for cheaper than you would build out here in the UK or in the United States, but then your return is higher. To give you an example, the equivalent of what you would get, like say in New York City, Manhattan, that would cost you, let's say the tenant would be paying $2,000 a month. There are properties for that same price of what you would have rehabbed it for that would go for $4,000, $5,000 US in Ghana. So you're looking at properties that people don't realize there's a certain level of wealth that is there.
Africa is going to be the strongest continent in the world. When I said that 25 years ago, people were like, you crazy. Okay, it's a natural, if you know anything about business, 2 + 2 = 4, this plus this equals a product. It's inevitable. Watch. And I've already told y'all, in another, it's speeding up now. 6 years, I'm out of here.
He said, I'm out of
I'm
here.
out of here.
You ain't said nothing,
I
Unc. I'm waiting for him to
am
say
out
something, but he
here.
ain't said nothing.
I'm putting my assets somewhere else, and I'm gonna buy shit that's real. Buy stuff real. Everybody black at the sound of my voice, you need to prepare to get out of here and raise your kids in Africa. Whatever conflict we got with them, fine. And that's why I say, watch.
You have to leave Europe. But for everybody living in the West, you might as well listen.
I'm weak as I don't feel like my guy said anything, bro. He just said I'm leaving.
The number one question would be, where do you go? First of all, let me start by saying there's a big difference between physical immigration and, how I call it, fiscal immigration. In easy words, the first one is when you move your life. The second one is when you move your tax residence. And what I'm about to say now might come as a big surprise to people in the West. The continent with the best options for the future, as of now, is Africa. In the top 20 of the fastest growing economies in the world, the majority are African nations. For my clients and my sales portfolio, we are currently investing in agriculture, trade, manufacturing, and IT. And I can tell you, it doesn't disappoint. And I know where your mind is going, but history is not repeating. In fact, in most African countries, it's mandatory to start a partnership with a local entity. Hands down, Africa is the future.
Listen to this guy talk makes me think of like the stock market, like looking at these countries. It's like Africa was like a stock that just looked like this. If you ever looked at a graph like Forex or a graph or something like that, it looked like this. And now it's trending upwards like that. And then every other country is like this. That's what popped in my head listening to this guy talk. But look, man, comment down below y'all thoughts, man. Is Africa the future? You feel me? Are y'all investing in Africa? Those who are not in Africa currently, or if you're in Africa, what are you investing in? You feel me? What do you got your eyes on? Me personally, I came here because of social media, of course. I got invited, I visited, I enjoyed the country. Now I'm here to really, you know what I'm saying, put my toes in the ground. You feel me? Invest. Maybe even start a family, man. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I was very, very ahead of my time once, you know what I'm saying, all this started happening because it just started booming like a year or two ago. Really, like in the media and stuff like that. As far as myself, yeah, man, I could definitely see myself living and definitely investing and putting and getting a family here for sure. But comment down below y'all thoughts, comments in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoy my reaction commentary. Stay tuned for next, y'all.